14 seconds to go in the game. And the Jaguars send out their punter. He'll boot it away from about his 35. Oh, he'll field it in the end zone. So possession goes over here on the punt. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest. Now the Chiefs offense, they get ready to head on the field. They have a little bit of time here to get into field goal range. Not much. In a tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. To throw is Mahomes. He's going to loft one deep left side here. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick six or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. And now here comes Kansas City. Set for their first drive here in overtime. And this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team. And that first drive can dictate the whole thing because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
It's been loud in here so far. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
3 yards there, good enough to keep the drive moving. Williams. And an alley to run. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It'll go as a gain of 10 and a Kansas City first down. They go with the ground game, pick up the first, now in plus territory.
And that changes the whole mentality of a play caller, doesn't it? Once they cross the 50, they feel like they're in the strike zone. All right, you don't have to be in the red zone to take those big shots downfield or go after the end zone. Right now, that might be available to them.
And now this first drive in OT continues. And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. From midfield, here's Mahomes. Looking left side for Watkins, and he's got it. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of, until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
And they need 5 yards on 3rd down here to keep this opening drive of OT alive. Working from the gun, Mahomes. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. Well, I know you're toward the middle of the field here, but still, fourth down this distance, you got to punt it right.
That's definitely the first instinct because you say, okay, let's just play some field position, make sure we don't lose the game here, turn it over in a key spot. But if you feel really good about your trigger guy, if you feel great about him, you might want to leave the ball in his hands and let him work his magic.
So a big move here, playing to win in overtime. They're going to go for it on fourth down. They'll go for it. It's Mahomes. Oh, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Telvin Smith. And they will set up shop at their own 46-yard line. A costly mistake here in OT.
And you know what they say, when you throw an interception like that in overtime, you don't usually get a chance to throw a second one. I mean, I'm not sure the analytics on it. Let's ask Marvin, our statistician, to ring that down for us. That's typically how coaches and teams feel about it. If you throw one, you likely cost yourself the game.
First throw of overtime for Bortles. And that'll be incomplete. We do have a penalty flag down, however. Let's see what that's about. So this helps to start a drive. After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 5.
Mike 39, Lucy.
Now a first throw here in overtime. That's into the hands of Westbrook over the middle. And he's into the end zone for the touchdown and the game winner in OT. Partner, a great game that we got to see and making it extra special. Not only did I get 4 quarters with you in this one, I got some overtime, a little whipped cream on top.
Look at you, trying to make this whole thing palatable.
I just want you to pay for my meal later.
You really just wanted 4 quarters what you're on. But how much fun was that? We had that type of a game where we got us to overtime, and then we get the dramatic ending to finish things off as well. What a game.
So for the Jaguars, a loss would have really hurt. As it stands, they finish the first half at 3-5. And they'll get to stay put for a few days as they'll host the Atlanta Falcons next week. Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, they fall 2 games under 500 now at 3-5. And they'll be at home next week for a date with the Houston Texans. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
that's really necessary. Get the message like a secretary, boy. Embarrassed to be